everyone, my name is Amber and welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I'm going to be doing my introduction to a reading vlog for the Off Balance series. A few booktubers are doing a read along and I thought it'd be really fun to participate and vlog my experience. I actually read the first book a little bit ago, so I thought I'm not really going to reread that again, but I am going to read the other books in the series, and this will get me to finally continue back with it. A lot of times I'll take a book or a break from a series, and it's hard for me to get back into it. So I'm really glad that they're doing this read along, because now I'm like being forced to actually follow through and complete a series, because sometimes I'm really bad about completing series. So I did read Balance, so I'll kind of briefly go over my thoughts and feelings on that, since I am going to be mostly vlogging the following books. But I do want to say thank you to those booktubers, and I really appreciate them doing this read along. So it's Oh Hey, It's McKay, That Tall Book Girl, and then The Love Librarian. So I love them. They're like some of my favorite booktubers. So I'm really excited to do this read along. And I will let you know my thoughts on the following books. But first, with Balance, the first book, I'm sure you know what this series is about. If not, it's a gymnast and her coach. So we have Rhea, and she wants to become an Olympic gymnast. That's her dream. That's her passion. That's all she cares about. And she's very young when this book starts. I don't remember if she was 16 or 17. I know there were some changes that Lucia Franco had to make because this book series got like banned. It got kicked off of Amazon, and so she made some slight changes, so it was back on Kindle Unlimited, which I was really excited that was on, not just back on Kindle, but it was on Kindle Unlimited just recently for a limited time. I don't know if it's still available, but if you haven't read it, I would check it out. Try and get all the books before it gets taken off again, because, it's worth it. Just trying to grab them if you can. But with this first book, you have Rhea. She's 16, 17, and her dad is rich, and he's friends with Kova, who is a Russian Olympic gymnast. And he runs his own, gym and everything, and trains gymnasts. And so she really wants the next level, because she's only getting so far at the place that she's at. And it's like in a different state. I believe it's in Florida. And so he sends her out there, and she's going to go, which is kind of crazy. He's going to let her live on her own, pay for her place at that young of an age, and she's going to go train with Kova. But she is very independent and mature for her age. So although she is very immature a lot of this book, but for that reason, she's off, and that's all she cares about. And it's funny because when she gets there, like, Kova's like, you suck. She's not up to par to what his athletes are at. And so he's kind of irritated because he's got to really like break her down and to be able to build her into the gymnast she needs to be. The thing that I did love about this series, in this first book at least, sorry, I haven't read the series. And the thing that I loved about this book was the gymnastics. There's so much of it, and you could tell Lucia Franco really knows a lot about it. There's so much detail, and like their coach-athlete dynamic is really amazing. But it is a very toxic, angsty, taboo relationship, because she is underage. She's a gymnast, and he's her coach. So he actually has a girlfriend too. He's in his 30s. And they just can't deny this attraction they feel for each other. And Rhea kind of pursues it and actively pushes him. So she kind of does a lot of seducing in this, but he is a grown-ass man. You can say no. So there is that. It's very toxic. The sex is hot. Rhea, I don't know. She's very frustrating, but like it's amazing reading an athlete's mind kind of thing, because I can barely get up to work. I don't even want to work out. I barely work out. I always tell myself I'm going to work out. Don't do it. Yet this girl is doing like 8 to 10 hours of just putting her body through it. So it's really interesting. It's an interesting book to read. My biggest hangups were like how Kova treated her. He's big dick in this first book, and how he like won't use a condom. And he comes and he goes in, he's like finishes inside her, and they'll use the morning after pill, and that just really pissed me off. I hate the repeated like irresponsibility when she's a star. She's supposed to be becoming a gymnast. Like, that'll ruin her whole life and career if she gets pregnant. And she's like, and they're already doing something that's illegal, kind of, and like inappropriate. He's her dad's best friend. There's just lots of stuff that goes into this. And he takes her off of, like, she was supposed to go to this big meet. I don't know if they call it a meet, a competition, whatever. And then he takes her off last minute, kind of like as a punishment to her. And she's like devastated. They end up having this like crazy sex in his office. And then Hayden, who's like one of her best guy friends, he's like a gymnast there, the male gymnast, he walks in and catches them. And they had already like kind of ended their relationship at this point. But she basically has to go out and try and stop Hayden from telling anybody. And Cove is a total freaking asshole to her about it. So there's that. So I was really angry after I read this first book because of the morning after pill is like birth control. No, thank you. And just the way Kova was. But I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 4 stars when I rated it. But I basically, I did enjoy it. I just took a break. So I'm so happy to be doing this. I'm going to check in a bit with my, the second book, which I'm going to start soon. And I'll be checking in with you. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is like one of my first, it might be my first or second vlog, depending on when I post this. So, I'm kind of newer to doing the vlogging. So I appreciate you sticking with me and watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will check in with you in a bit. Hello everyone, just wanted to check in on this vlog. Started reading Execution, was about 20% in, just kind of wanted to give an update. Sorry for the no makeup and kind of pajama wear, but just wanted to kind of give you my first update on the second book of the Off Balance series. So basically, I don't know. I know everybody blows up these books and they talk about how amazing they are, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm hoping that Kova will grow on me. But basically, going into this book, it's starting off right after the end of the first book, where he basically stopped her from he cut her out of doing the meet, her competition, which devastated her. Hayden caught them having sex, and he basically like blames her, holds her responsible for getting Hayden not to say anything, which is BS, and is totally rude and condescending to her. Sends her off. She has to go deal with Hayden and explain everything to him and try to get him not to tell anybody that she's having sex with her much older coach who's using his power position. Earlier, guess what? She needed another morning after pill, and he was like, beg for it. And that pissed me off. Like, you're going to be the idiot. They're both idiots. She can be naive all she wants, but use freaking protection. It drives me insane. And then he, like, is a grown-ass man refusing to wrap it up and have sex with a condom, and he won't give her the morning after pill. And the morning after pill is my big contention with this, because I'm all for taking the morning after pill if you're an emergency, if something bad happens, whatever. But to use it because you're not smart enough to use protection multiple times is just really, it drives me crazy. And it puts her through the ringer when she takes it. It's not good for her, and he doesn't freaking care. So this is the hero of our book. I don't know. Like, I know I'm probably supposed to hate him for a while, but he's really driving me crazy. Now she's going to basically go off to visit her family because she's not going to be part of this meet. She's not training for it. And so she's going out to visit her family and everything. So we'll see how that goes. I already hated her mom from the first book, and that was her not being around. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. Hey guys, I'm back for another update on Execution, the second book in the Off Balance series. And I'm angry again. What a shocker. So basically, Rhea, or whatever you want to call her, Adriana, Maria, she goes home to visit her family. Her friend, she can't find her. She's not at home, and she happens to find her at her house while she's been away forever. So what's she doing there? It's so freaking obvious that her best friend and her brother have something going on, and it's like in your face obvious, and she doesn't see it. So that really annoys me because I'm like, how dumb can this girl get? Like, she just get it together. Anyways, so that bugged me. And then she's basically, you know, at home being treated like shit by her mom. They're gonna have this big New Year's party. They invite them, and she actually invites Hayden and his sister, and so they're staying there. Hayden gives, like, she dresses up to the nines. Hayden's like blown away and gives her this hot kiss, but of course she only thinks about Kova. Which I guess you can tell I'm very irritated with Kova at this point. And then he basically is cold to her the whole night, acts like he doesn't see her, does like that see through her kind of thing, and she feels very little, and he's like all over his girlfriend in front of her. It just infuriated me. And then of course she needs to get away, and he follows her and wants to meet her privately. Then they have like this amazing kiss, and it's hot. Like, that's my problem is there's a lot of hot interactions with them, and this is my problem with the first book. It was a lot of hot sex, but it just felt like lust and nothing else. Like, Kova is obsessed with her and into her and can't control himself around her, but he's like, it's like just lust. It's very surface level. So I want like a deeper connection. I need that, and it needs to start building here. I'm hoping I'm going to start being more positive about this. I'm sorry this is such a ranting video. I was kind of worried it would work out like this. The first book I had a hard time with. I read through it really fast. It's toxic. It's, you know, like a pretty fast read for such a longer book. But a lot of this stuff made me ragey. You know, I've ranted multiple times about this morning after pill situation and the way he treats her. So, I mean, this guy's got to get it together. So I'm hoping that's going to get better. And that we're going to kind of, you know, have better character growth for this Kova guy. And then Rhea needs to get her shit together and man up and have a backbone. That's all I'm saying. So thank you guys for continuing to watch, and I will check in a bit. Hello, everyone. This is Amber checking back in. I'm still reading Execution, and it's going a little bit better. Kova's still irritating me, although there were some pretty hot sex scenes. So they finally hooked back up. I can't remember if I brought up, oh yeah, I did. In my last check-in, I did bring up how they kind of kissed at New Year's at her parents' and all of that. Then they go back home and kind of get back to their routine. And I do love the scenes of them, like him coaching her. He did have her go to the meet with him, or the competition. I don't know if it's called a meet. Anyways, in that way he could like show her and talk to her and point out all the mistakes they're making. And he used it as a big teaching experience, which I really liked. I think they do have a really amazing relationship as coach and athlete. So I do believe their connection. There are moments where Kova really comes off loving and is vulnerable and tells her how much she means to him. And he like treats her like, you know, like she's devoted to her. But then he'll flip on a dime and be like, why are you doing this to me? I don't like, and he blames her for them hooking up. So they did have sex in his office and it was super hot, but then like it was an amazing sex scene, and he was really vulnerable and emotional during it and sweet. And then his girlfriend almost catches them, so she hides under the desk, and she has to hear the girl try to give him a blowjob. It's like, oh my god, like, how do you come back from that? And then, like, she works out really hard one day, an extra day, because she's taking on extra hours. And he works her too hard where she can barely walk, where she has to do an ice bath. And he takes her home to do that. He wants to. He pushes it. But then he gets mad at her because she wants body heat afterwards and is kind of coming on to him and, like, blames her for it. And it's like, well, you put yourself in this position by being at a 17-year-old's home that you're training. So I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. And then she's overtraining and pushing herself too hard, which it's like she doesn't even listen to him when he's trying to warn her not to do that. But it is getting better, and I'm enjoying it, and Kova's kind of growing on me. So we'll see how it goes. I'll check in a bit. Hey everybody, just wanted to check in. I just finished execution and had to get my thoughts out. I'm sorry for the lighting, probably looks horrible. I'm not sure. I look a fright, but it's late at night and just finished, so I just wanted to get in here and give you my thoughts before I lose them. So a lot happens in this book, especially in like the last 20%. Secrets are revealed, bombs are dropped. It's crazy drama, crazy toxic. It's insane. A little unbelievable, yes, but this is kind of how this book is going, so I'm fine with that. But I do gotta dive into something that happened earlier in the book, which is somnophilia, which I was not expecting, where Kova had brought her back for like an ice bath because her injury's flaring up, and he gives her like a strong dose of melatonin, and she doesn't know anything really happened. But later on, they're texting and he sends her pictures that he took while she was asleep. And then he also sends her a video and he's literally rubbing up against her naked. And he fully starts penetrating her and he has sex with her while she's asleep. So I did not see that coming. And then we have all the drama with her mom. Her mom's a psycho bitch, which, spoiler alert, which I am doing spoilers in this video, so too late now, I guess. But it's not really her mom, and that's why she's been so vindictive to her, calling her fat, picking on her, being abusive, calling her a slut, is because her dad had an affair with somebody, and she's the result of that, and they've kept it hidden. So when she goes back home during a point for, like, Easter, this gets all, like, thrown at her. Her mom, but not mom, is also basically throwing this newspaper at her, showing how she's like seducing Kova. It's really frustrating because Kova was like ignoring her calls when she was freaking out. And then when she texts him and says, "Oh, my mom knows," then he calls her. Infuriated me. So then he comes over to talk about how her mom knows and blah, blah, and lo and behold, they end up having sex. But this time it's very intimate, very loving. It's almost like they're making love, but he's different. He's like kept saying words in Russian that I believe they were like, "I'm sorry, forgive me," over and over. So you knew something was up. And then the next day she goes in to practice and he's cold with her, like isn't even pushy coach where he's always telling her ways to improve. He's just like, "Oh, good," which isn't like him. So she's freaking out. And then Katya comes in, his girlfriend, and they have been married. And not only have they been married, they've been married for 2 months. So he just had sex with her, literally came in her again, which don't even get me started on the sex without a condom. I'm sick of it. Get on birth control if you're not going to use a condom. And you're a grown-ass man. Wrap it up. She's a gymnast. If she gets pregnant, it will ruin her career. Ugh, it's so frustrating. The amount of times they have sex and then not use a condom, and then she'll be like, "No, don't pull out." And I'm like, "You're a freaking idiot." She finds out and she's devastated. He's basically been lying to her for months. And, Katya was pretty bitchy about it. So I have a feeling she knows about them. And maybe she's blackmailing him or making him have this marriage because he seems miserable. He seems, depressed about it. So Rhea's devastated. And then, of course, she gets this call about her health and that now they got her blood results and said that she needs to call immediately. And of course, she's not because she's having a breakdown. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on with her health. So thank you guys for watching. I will check in later when I'm going to start reading the next book, which I think is Release. So thank you. I'll see you soon. I just wanted to check in with you. I am reading the third book, Release. I am about 20% in and just wanted to give you a quick update on where I'm at. So basically this book picks up after the second book. It's like right where it left off, where Rhea found out about Kova being married. She's humiliated, she's devastated, and she goes running out. She kind of basically in my opinion, uses Hayden to get over the situation. Calls Hayden immediately, needing help and to get through this. They go back to her place and he's comforting her, and eventually she basically kind of propositions him to have sex because she wants to feel something else and kind of get this out of her. Hayden tries to do the right thing because he doesn't want to take advantage of her during this like really vulnerable time. And so I really did appreciate that. But Rhea always gets what she wants, and she always tries to talk the man into doing something he doesn't want to do, which bugs me. But so they end up having sex, and Hayden does a great job. He seems like he really knows what he's doing in the bedroom. And of course, Kova makes a stop by, wants to talk to her and tell her everything, but she doesn't want to hear it. She basically tells him there's nothing going on with them and that it's over. They're just a coach and athlete, and that's all they are now. So he keeps trying to like write her little messages in their little notebook that they share and pass along to each other. And she doesn't want anything to do with it. She doesn't want to read his messages. She's infuriated. And she's still continuing to ignore her health issues. She's barely getting by. She's barely eating still. She's in a lot of pain and she doesn't tell anybody. And she still hasn't called her doctor back. So very frustrating. And she hides her issues from Kova too, which really bugs me. So far it's going good. Be interested to see how Kova responds to finding, like she did tell him that she had sex with Hayden, and I don't think he believed her, because he didn't even get fazed by that. And I think when he realizes it really happened, things are going to go, he's going to go crazy. So we'll see how it goes. Just want to do a quick check-in, and I'll follow up with you guys soon. Thank you. Hey guys, just doing a quick check-in. I'm still reading Release, and I gotta say some crazy scenes have happened so far. We have Kova trying to give Rhea some medication because she was really hurting and she can't take the Motrin. So he takes her back to his office to give her the medication, and lo and behold, Katja shows up. And they kind of get into it, and Rhea leaves. And after she's done, like at the lockers or whatever she was doing, she ends up kind of overhearing their conversation. And we're like, you could tell something's up. Where like Kova wasn't in love with her. He literally tells her he's not in love with her, and she kind of forced him into this and all of that. And she tells him like, oh, well, take advantage, like you can take out your anger or release on me and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, okay, you want me to do that? Then get down on your knees. And yet again, we have another scene like the previous book where, Rhea has to witness Kova getting a blowjob from his wife. And then they continue to do more like actual sex. And Rhea doesn't stay for all of it, thank God. And she goes back out, continues practicing, and Hayden comes up to her, noticing something was wrong. She tells him what happened. He basically says, let's go in the locker room and have a quickie. So they do. Luckily, they used condoms, thank God. But it was a quick, like, 5-minute thing. She wasn't impressed. She didn't really enjoy it. So Hayden's kind of gone down for me in that department. But totally devastating scene where she has to, hear that. And then later when she has to continue hours and hours of like practice with Kova, and he literally tells her like he knew she was there, but yet he did it. And he says, oh, I didn't come. Like he didn't finish. So, okay, that makes me feel better. Kova can get so, but he's basically saying you have to do what you have to do to survive. Like, I'm doing what I have to do. So who knows what kind of effed up situation is going on with Katya and Kova. Then you have all the gymnastic stuff. Excuse me, which I'm really loving her meets and watching her grow as a gymnast, and the relationship that she has with Kova as her coach is just beautiful. They relate on such a deeper level, and he believes in her more than anybody. Nobody believes in her life, but Kova does, and he's just so devoted to her, and I love those scenes together. So, and watching her go from being like not really that great in balance to being like at winning medals, ranking first and like all the different areas of the competition to, and then now like they want to have her go to nationals, and basically they're putting her up for that. So it's like it's a really amazing storyline, but she's pushing her body to extremes. She's severely sick, hasn't gone to the doctor yet. She did finally make an appointment and go in, and they basically kind of told her you should have come back for your test results. They took more blood and wanted to get a better idea of what was going on, so we have to wait to find out again what's going on. But so far I'm really enjoying it. There's not a ton going on besides the gymnastics stuff. Like, there's nothing really going on with Kova and Rhea. Like, they're not together. He's not pushing it, which I appreciate. He's not like being all dominant. He's like appreciating, like going based off of like what she wants, her boundaries. And so I do like that. But so it's like, not much going on. Kind of feels like a filler book, honestly, but I'm still enjoying it. And I'm quickly going through it. So I do like this book so far. I think now that the characters have established themselves to me, from the first two ragey books that I got a little angry at, like I'm used to it at this point. So now I'm enjoying the ride. Hey everyone, so I just finished release and I just want to do a quick update. I actually really enjoyed this book. This couple's really growing on me. And I did have some major feels at the end of this book. So you have Rhea, where she's basically won at like nationals to be part of the national team. And so she has to go to a couple camps that are like really intensive, excruciating camps. They're like starving these girls that are already super skinny, pushing them to their limit. She couldn't even like walk when she got home from the first one, and Kova wanted to take care of her, but she told him no, like I need to do this myself. The second camp she went to, they like pretty much re-injured her Achilles, like, and they told her, don't limp, it's weakness, I don't want to see you limp, there's no pain, figure it out. Sorry, my cat. Every video he's got to get involved here. So basically she comes back, she's a mess, her health is deteriorating. I mean, she's bawling every day, severely depressed. There is an amazing moment where like Kova wants to give her a massage, and he tells her to go back to his place, and Katya was out of town. So like she actually spends the night with him. They don't have sex or anything like that. They do kind of like mess around, but it's no sex. And they like wake up in each other's arms, and like it was just really sweet. And then so they've had a couple moments where like he's slowly wearing her down and getting her to open up to him again. And so it's a really hard journey where she's very devastated about what he did and like wants to know more, but doesn't want to know more. And then basically this whole book is her deteriorating and ignoring her health issues, pushing through it, because all she cares about is gymnastics, but her health should be the priority. Not returning doctors' calls when they're trying to call her. They got more blood tests done because they had an idea that it might be an autoimmune disease, but they wanted more tests just to make sure. And then we have a really beautiful moment near the end of the book where like Kova, after her second camp, which she was like dying from, he actually took care of her afterwards. It was 4th of July. Katya was out of town again, and he stayed with her, and they went out to watch fireworks. She found out it was his birthday, and like Katya didn't even care and hasn't celebrated the last couple years. So she gave him like a brownie and told him happy birthday, and it was just a really sweet moment. They kind of fooled around a little bit. Still no sex, but Kova's holding out on that till he's sure she, is ready to forgive him and they can move on. So, and he does kind of explain him and Katya's history, which just sounded like a codependent relationship, is like kids that, were friends, then he became her protector, then they became lovers. So it's a very codependent relationship that wasn't really like they were in love or anything. So, and he does finally she could tell there was more to why they got married, because he's literally saying he didn't love her, so she doesn't understand. And he brings up that it's like also because of her mother. So sure enough, Joy the bitch probably found out, and who knows how she's involved or what she did to threaten him, or who knows. So, and then at the end of the book, we have Rhea finally getting the diagnosis from her doctors, and she has lupus. But not only that, she is her kidneys are failing, and they want to admit her into the hospital immediately. They need to do a big treatment plan, but she doesn't want to do it. It'll hold back her standing and where she's at. So she's like refusing to go to, she doesn't want to go to the hospital. She doesn't want people to know. She wants to just push through. But they're literally telling her, this isn't like if you will die, this is like when you will die. Like if you do not get help, your kidneys are failing. She's like peeing blood. Her kidneys are like completely failing. So it's devastating, but it's like super frustrating, because it's like, just put your health first. But I wouldn't understand, because I don't have that pro athlete like kind of drive. So it is crazy. So I'm really interested to see how things go in the next book. I hope she tells Kova immediately. Like, I don't want her to hide this from Kova. I think she needs him by her side, and they can be a great team together. I was surprised how much I loved Kova in this book. He really, I didn't think it was possible, but I actually really love Kova, and Rhea drives me insane. Rhea annoyed me this whole book, which I know she's meant to, but so we'll see. I'm gonna probably read another, a little novella in between this and the next book, but I'll be back when I start reading Twist, and I'll give you an update. All right, thank you so much for watching this. See you soon. Hey everyone, just checking in. I'm currently reading the 4th book, Twist, and I'm about 20% into the book, and so far I can just say it's devastating. Rhea's really going through it. Her body is completely shutting down. At the end of the last book, you finally found out her condition. And she has lupus, but she also has stage 4 kidney disease. And so her kidneys are shutting down. She's supposed to be getting dialysis and get a transplant and trying to find somebody, a donor. She's not willing to do any of that till the season's over, or till she figures out, goes to the Olympics or whatever. So it's pretty bad. Her body's completely shutting down. She's fatigued. Her whole back is in agony because of her kidneys. It's just so sad to watch her struggle. And I mean, it's just, and Kova can tell something's wrong, and he wants to know, and he keeps asking her, but she won't tell him because she doesn't want him to stop her training or alter it or anything like that. And so he's just trying to be there for her. He knows something's up. But it's just, it's so depressing. And then I gotta say, the last book, I started to really finally like Kova. And in this book, I love him. He's so devoted to her, even though he deals with this Katya bitch. He's with her because he's forced to be with her. And we don't know that whole story yet, but I know that's what's going on. And he just wants to help Rhea. He tries to be there for her. He gives her this whole body massage, and it's just so sweet. I'm really loving Kova, and you can tell he's all about Rhea and just wants to be with her. Sorry, this light going on in the background is my TV. I'm in bed reading and my TV's on in the background, so sorry about that. So anyways, I'm enjoying it even though it's depressing. I actually got really emotional because there was a scene with Rhea and her best friend because they haven't been talking for a long time, and they finally did and made up, and she kind of told her best friend what's going on with her, and they were crying, and Rhea was like, I don't want to I'm scared to die. Ugh, it was just heavy. And so this series is getting so much better because there's so much more depth to like Kova, and I'm starting to see the love for Kova here. So I'll check it in a bit. Hopefully she tells Kova soon because I really want her to tell Kova. But I'll see you guys in a few. Hey everyone, just checking in. I haven't been able to put my book down all night. It has gotten so good. It's crazy. So we find out that Kova has known this whole time that Rhea's had the kidney disease and lupus. And so she finds out that truth and kind of flips out, leaves. There's this hurricane happening. He chases her down, follows her to her apartment, and they have this whole wild, crazy confrontation. Like he finds out that she fucked Hayden and he loses his mind. It was like, how could you do this to us? Which makes her lose her mind. She's like, you're married. And they end up having like this crazy confrontation. I mean, a knife gets involved. I mean, some crazy sex. Like, I mean, it's chapters and chapters and chapters of sex. And I was here for it. Kova, he could get it. And I'm loving Kova in this book. And he did admit to her that he did have to marry Katya because Katya found out about them and she was going to go to the police and it would ruin her and all that kind of stuff. So he did it for her. He literally tells her how much he loves her. She hasn't said she loves him back, and that kind of irritates me. Like, just get over it, Rhea, and say you love him because you love him. But it was crazy. This book is so much better than the other books so far. Like, I'm at a 5-star here just from where I'm at right now with this like insane scene. It was like from a movie. And I'm just loving them together. Their chemistry, their like the sexual tension, the way Kova treats her, his possessiveness. Like, I love it. So I just had to do a quick check-in. It's late here. I should probably go to bed for work, but I haven't been able to put the book down. So I'm going to try to go to bed, and then I'll do an update tomorrow. Okay, see you soon. Hey everyone, just checking in. I just finished Twist, and it was amazing. This book was so much better than the other books. It took a bit to finally make me fall in love with Kova, but this book really did it. So much happens in like the last half of this book. It's action-packed, a lot going on, really emotional. Kova and Rhea are like really rebuilding their relationship, and she's totally in love with him, but she's not telling him she loves him for some stupid reason. So that's driving me nuts because Kova's literally told her 1 billion times how much he loves her and how she's his life. So just say the fucking words, honey. Anyways, that annoys me. But in the end of this book, like, one of my most hated tropes happened, which is the surprise pregnancy. And I was literally losing it because Rhea is going back and forth like, oh, I'm not going to tell him. I got to get an abortion, but I'm not going to tell him. Oh, I'm going to tell him. Oh, no, I'm not going to tell him. It was driving me nuts. And I just knew. I'm like, she's not going to tell him. And, like, something bad's going to happen. And then, of course, she doesn't tell him, but he finds, like, the pregnancy box, and so he knows. So they have a whole, and he's not angry like she assumed he would be. He's devastated and upset that, like, they're gonna have to abort their baby. He never wanted kids, but with her, he's, like, open to it. But he knows she's young and she's a gymnast and she's going to the Olympics. So he's devastated. And then, of course, right at that moment, they get a knock on the door when they're having this emotional conversation. And it's her dad. And then her dad sees them where, like, he's half dressed. She's in, like, underwear and a t-shirt. And all hell breaks loose. The dad, like, totally is like, I'm calling the police. And then they get into a fight, and she's trying to break it up. And she gets, like, thrown across the room from her dad and hits her head on, like, this coffee table. She gets back up again, and it happens again. And there's, like, blood down her legs. So, you know, she's probably having a miscarriage. And she's, like, really badly injured. And that's how the book ends. And it's just, like, it's insane. So, I loved this book so much. I give it 5 stars. I couldn't put it down. So I'm really excited to read the next book. I'm probably going to read a quick novella in between because this was intense. And then I will update you once I start reading the next book. All right. Thanks, guys. So I just started reading the last book. Technically, there's another book, Out of Bounds, but the last book in, like, the main series basically is Dismount, and I'm about 20% in, and so far, like, there was no Kova in this. A lot of fallout happened from the end of the last book, where the altercation happened, where her father caught her and Kova together. He didn't have a shirt on. She was in, like, you know, her tank top and panties, and he lost it, was attacking Kova. She tried to stop him. He, like, hurt her arm really badly, threw her, like, she got thrown across the room a couple times during their fight. And Kova is actually not trying to fight back because he knew he would totally kill him if he did fight back, and he knew he was kind of, like, in the wrong in this. But her dad, like, literally lost his mind, which was kind of shocking to me. I knew he'd be mad and upset, but I didn't think he'd be abusive to his own daughter. And then she ends up, you know, bleeding and being in a pile of her own blood. And so I pretty much knew, like, oh, for sure she had a miscarriage. So this book picks up right after that, where she wakes up in the hospital. She's been in there a couple of days. She's had a concussion. Her dad, like, tore, like, I think her elbow of her arm or something, so it's in a sling. She had a miscarriage. Kova's in jail. Her dad tells her it's for rape charges, but then she later finds out because her biological mother is with him and they're at the hospital. And I really liked that, was her biological mother was, like, really trying to be there for her but not push her to be, you know, part of her life. And so I thought that was really nice because she never experienced that, any kind of maternal, like, loving mother figure in her life. And she kind of helps talk the father down a lot of times in the beginning of this book because he doesn't want to, like, not press charges. He wants to take her home. She's done. But she's like, you know, I fought so hard to get here. I'm almost to the Olympics. Like, you need to let me keep going. They obviously want her on bed rest and to, like, not go back to practice for, you know, quite a bit because she just had a miscarriage. Her arm's all effed up. So she tells him, I'll give you, like, 5 days. Like, that's it. So she ends up, her dad kind of lets her stay in her condo, but he's, like, monitoring her phone. She's going to be watched. She's not allowed to see Kova. He's still in jail, and she doesn't know what's going on. She goes to practice finally, and he's not there. She's really struggling with her arm. And this other coach was introduced as being, like, a new coach he hired that was, like, a previous Olympic athlete as well. And so he's kind of helping her, but she's freaking out because she doesn't know what's going on with Kova. Avery ends up helping her find out what's going on with him. And he has, like, 2 charges, like aggravated assault and something else. And so she doesn't know what's going on. She's, like, begging her dad, like, you need to not press charges, or I'll have to go and tell them the truth of what's happening, and this won't look good for our family. He has to be with me at the, you know, trials and everything because that'll look suspicious. And so she and her dad, like, isn't hearing it. But so I just got to the scene where she's at the airport. Her dad's flying with her because he doesn't trust her, and so is her biological mother. And then all of a sudden she's like waiting in the airport and she feels his presence as always. And then we finally have Kova. And he's like sitting across from her, but he can't like come up to her. And then you find out her dad like did let him, take away the charges. I don't know the full story there, but the mom, the biological mother, basically talked him out of it. So she's actually really helping Rhea, and it's nice to have somebody in her corner. So far we haven't got much of Kova and Rhea, but I'm excited. I don't get it because I would have like been so much more mad at my father. Like, you literally abused me. You physically assaulted me, and I would have threatened him like, I'm going to go to the cops and tell them that you were the one that hurt my arm and it wasn't an accident if you don't get Kova out of jail. But that's just me. Rhea doesn't really stand up to her dad really, unless it comes to Olympics. But I'm excited. The book's good so far. These books I can't put down. I'm really loving the series now. I get the Kova love. Like, once he was in the book again, it was like felt so much more special. And yeah, I'm a Kova girl now. So I'm surprised. I didn't think I was going to be. The first few books really pissed me off. So we'll see how it goes. I'll check it in a bit. Gotta get back to filming now, but I'll see you in a few. Hey everyone, just checking in. I'm about 50% into the last book, Dismount, and it's been pretty good so far. Not too much of Rhea and Kova going on. It's mostly about her gymnastics. He did end up going to the trials with her. Her dad did let him get out of prison, not prison, but jail, and he did end up going her as her coach and helping her, and she basically got picked to be part of the Olympics USA team, which was really exciting. And so you're getting to see a lot of Rhea's like dreams become true and become a reality. It was pretty crazy because like her mom, not her real mom, like her biological mom, but the mom that raised her, that's so hateful and we hate her, she showed up and kind of apologized and let her know that she was proud of her and that she, made it and all that kind of stuff. But basically Kova and her haven't had really moments alone. They did have a moment alone when they were in his office, because a couple colleges want her, so she's trying to figure out which college to go to, but her doctor also wanted to schedule her for surgery for the kidney transplant, like right after the Olympics, which she's pushing off, and now just wanted to do dialysis, thinking she could put it off, the surgery, for a couple years, which is just stupid. She's slowly coming to terms, like gymnastics is probably over for her. So I think that she needs to face the music and get the surgery as soon as possible. Her and Kova kind of have a kiss, but he was kind of fighting it in the office when they were meeting about that. And he seems kind of off where he's distant from her, but then he'll tell her, never doubt how much I love you. So I don't know what's going on with Kova, if he's like keeping his distance because everything that went down with her dad or not. So we'll see how that goes. They are at the Olympics now, and she just did, she had to do the beam as well as her floor routine. And so she did pretty good on the beam, and then she placed, I think, pretty high, I can't remember, in the floor routine. So USA is almost like at first, close to first, but not quite there yet. I'm pretty exhausted. Didn't get enough reading done today. Did filming and other stuff and chores, so I'm probably going to go to bed, even though I want to keep reading, but got to get ready for work in the morning. So I'll probably check in tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have time to finish it. And I'll check in with you guys soon. Okay, thanks. Hey everyone, just checking back in. I didn't go to sleep like I said I was going to. I ended up still continuing because I couldn't put down the book. So I just wanted to check in because a lot happened between Rhea and Kova. She ended up, I don't know where I left off last, but she ended up winning the USA won, and then she won I think silver like in the next day I think it was like all around or whatever. So like her team won, and then she won an additional award. They did celebrations and everything, and Kova, like, she was out to dinner with her dad and brother and Avery, and he was like off visiting other people and like acting like he didn't even like pay attention to her. And so it was just really weird vibes, and he still like wanted to talk to her. He kept bringing up, oh, in 2 days we'll meet and da da da. So she goes up to his room to talk to him, and she's pretty worried that things are off with him, and he pulls her in as quickly, like all over her, kissing her, but then he's also like pulling away from her, not being totally there in the moment, and he like basically is breaking up with her, because he's like, there's no way it can work between us. Your dad said if I go anywhere near you, like, he's gonna ruin my life. So he's like, I need time. And so she's freaking out, like, I don't have time, I have now. I'm gonna be going into treatment. During the argument, she said, oh, well, I'm gonna go to Oklahoma for college, so I guess I'm leaving. And he basically tells her, yeah, that Oklahoma idea is good, like, because I can't have you near me or I'll look for you. And he basically like has her leave he like leaves the room and tells her to go back to her room. So that's where we're at. It was really sad and devastating, and Ria's like completely devastated. It's just they've been through so much to finally get to this point, and then like now he's cutting her off, and it's just really sad. So I'm going to try and stop reading now so I can go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow. I have to get up at 5:30, and it's like 11 right now, so I'm tired. But this book does that to you. Can't put it down. And even though Kova's pissing me off with this behavior, like, I do love him so much. He loves her, and he's devoted to her, and just trying to do what he thinks is best for her. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm going to have better, happier things to update tomorrow. Okay, I will see you tomorrow this time. All right. Hey everyone, I'm back. Wanted to do my final check-in for the Off Balance vlog. I did just finish Dismount, and it was amazing. It was a 5-star read. I really loved this final book. I do apologize, I'm looking a little haggard right now. This week I've had to do overtime the last couple days, and just been working longer, and so it's pretty late at night, no makeup, and I just wanted to get this update in. So I did love the closing of this series. I really fell in love with Kova, and I didn't think that was possible. He really drove me crazy the first few books, but like, you can just feel his love and devotion to Ria. In this book, it was really devastating because once she won the Olympics, like, she went to the Olympics, she medaled, she did amazing. She basically crashes after the Olympics because she pushed herself so hard to meet this goal, but her body is like done. And so she has to come to terms with basically like kind of taking a step back from being a gymnast for like the next year. She's gonna go to Oklahoma University, I think it's university, and they're gonna, even though she's gonna take a year off, they still want her as a gymnast and everything. So it's just really hard. He comes and sees her before she's gonna move, and they have this beautiful night of like making love, and he's like, I'll sell my gym for you, because she's basically decided she needs to look out for herself and start paying attention to her health, and she's too like involved and like obsessive over Kova, and that she needs to go do this, and they can figure it out later maybe. And it's just really hard because she doesn't want to leave him, but she knows it's the best thing for her. So it's just it's very sad. So she ends up going, they have this final goodbye that was just so heartbreaking at the airport, and she goes off, and it's like a few years before they're together, and it's quite a few time jumps in the end of this book, which I'm usually not a fan of, but I get why she did it. I get why like they needed to wait, because she was so young and there was all these issues of them being together. and he would like mail her his journals for the year, and so she would get to like read what he was feeling. And I just love anything that gives us Kova's perspective. I got my little kitty here getting involved. It's my little baby boy. Don't fight it. He didn't like that. Anyways, so, you know, anything from Kova's perspective is wonderful. And eventually they do get together at the end. He kind of shows up when she's kind of like finally ready, and it kind of just like it ends right when he shows up to her place, and it goes to the epilogue. So I kind of wanted a little bit more of them having the discussion and seeing what happened there. Maybe that'll happen in the Out of Bounds book, I'm not sure, but I kind of wanted more. But the epilogue was so beautiful, where it's from Kova's point of view, which I've wanted for the whole series. And they have kids, and he's like this doting father, and they had to work really hard to be able to have kids because it was dangerous for her. And they're pregnant with like another boy, and they have multiple girls. And you know, he's part back with the gym, and she helps coach, and it's just so beautiful. Like they are such they're soulmates. And even though this series was a struggle, there was a lot of twists and turns, there was a lot of angst in the series, I can say I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed this experience, and I do get why so many people love Kova. But I would definitely recommend it. Kova is all alpha, Russian, sexy gymnast, and I love them. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for watching this. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. So, you know, I know it was a longer video. Please give me some love, like and subscribe to my channel, and like this video, and I will see you on the next one.